Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 30 female, just got married, and what was supposed to be one of the happiest days of my life turned into a dramatic mess. All thanks to my father and his completely inappropriate wedding speech. Now I'm at the center of family drama, and I don't know if I went too far in shutting him down. To truly understand why I didn't invite my father's wife, you need to know the history. My father had an affair with this woman while he was still married to my mother. My parents had what seemed like a happy marriage. My mother was devoted to my father, supporting his career and raising me while he worked long hours. She was a stay-at-home mom who sacrificed her dreams to make sure our home life was stable. She adored my father and trusted him completely. But all of that changed when she discovered that he had been cheating on her for years with his now wife, a woman nearly 15 years younger than him who worked at his office. I remember the night my mother found out. She had gone through his phone while he was in the shower, something she never did before, but she had a feeling. Something in her gut told her something was off. And there it was. Explicit texts, hotel confirmations, love notes. Years of lies, all laid out in front of her in black and white. She didn't confront him right away. She sat with the pain, breaking down in the bathroom, sobbing so hard she made herself physically ill. She wanted to believe there was a mistake. She wanted to believe her husband, the man she had given her entire life to, wouldn't betray her like this. But there was no denying it. When she finally confronted him, he didn't even deny it. He admitted everything, and then had the audacity to tell her that he had found real love, and that they had grown apart. He walked out on us just a week later, moving in with her and leaving my mother shattered. My mother fell into a deep depression. She stopped eating. She barely got out of bed. She cried herself to sleep every night. I was only 15 at the time, and I had to watch her completely fall apart while my father was out playing house with his mistress. She tried to get better, she really did. But it took years for her to heal, and honestly, I don't think she ever fully recovered. The betrayal broke her in a way that was irreversible. I'm very close with my mother, and it broke my heart seeing her suffer. I know it takes two to tango, so I know my father is to blame as well, but this woman knew my father as a married man and allowed herself to start a relationship with him. Later, I found out from father's best friend that my father told him that she was constantly flirting with him, so basically she was the one who made the first step in their relationship. Later, I also found out that on top of that, my father's now wife is a nasty, manipulative person. She wasn't just some innocent bystander who fell in love with a married man. She actively encouraged my father to leave us. She made snide comments about my mother before the divorce was even finalized. She would call their house and hang up just to mess with her. She openly bragged to friends that she had won and that my mother was just too weak to keep a man. Even after they got married, she never tried to mend things. She never apologized, never showed a shred of remorse. Instead, she acted like I was the problem for not accepting her as part of my life. She would tell my father that I was disrespectful for not wanting to spend time with them. She even went as far as calling my mother pathetic for still being upset years after the divorce. So when it came time for my wedding, there was no question that she would not be invited. My mother and I both agreed this was our day, and we didn't want to share it with someone who had caused us so much pain. I told my father that while I wanted him there, his wife was not welcome. He wasn't happy about it, but he agreed and RSVP'd without making a scene. I assumed that was the end of it. I was very, very wrong. My wedding ceremony was beautiful. Everything was perfect. But then came the reception speeches. My father stood up, took the mic, and at first everything seemed normal. He talked about how proud he was of me, how beautiful I looked, how he had always dreamed of this day. But then his tone shifted. He started talking about forgiveness. He said he was deeply disappointed in me for not inviting his wife. He said that weddings were about love, growth, and family, and that I had chosen bitterness over healing. Then, the real kicker. Quote, "On your wedding day, you should understand that the heart moves in ways the mind cannot control. Love, true undeniable love, does not wait for permission." Close quote. I froze. My husband's jaw clenched. My mother went pale. This wasn't just an attempt at guilt-tripping me. He was justifying his affair. At my wedding, in front of all my guests. The room fell into an awkward silence as he continued rambling about how love is unpredictable and how one day I would understand why he did what he did. I looked over at my maid of honor, who was staring at me wide-eyed, waiting for a cue. So I gave her one. I signaled for her to cut the mic off. So she went over to the DJ and signaled him to cut the mic. The speakers went silent mid-sentence. My father blinked, confused, before realizing what had happened. He fiddled with the mic, tapped it, and when it didn't work, he looked around in absolute outrage. He tries to keep talking, but obviously no one can hear him. Finally, someone from the catering staff gently takes the mic away and he storms off. For a second, I thought he was going to throw a fit in the middle of the reception. His face was red, his hands clenched into fists. Then, without another word, he stormed out of the venue. The DJ, being an absolute hero, quickly started playing music again, and within minutes people were back on the dance floor, moving on from the disaster my father had tried to create. Now, my father is furious. He's been blowing up my phone, leaving voicemails about how I publicly humiliated him, and that he was just trying to give me wisdom about love. He told me that I embarrassed him in front of his friends and family, and that he has never been so disrespected. His wife, who wasn't even there, mind you, has also joined in, sending me nasty messages about how I'm immature and holding on to the past. Some family members have taken his side, saying that while his speech was inappropriate, I should have let him finish instead of making a scene. But then there are those who fully support me. My mother, my husband, my in-laws, and several of my friends have said I did exactly the right thing. They believe my father used my wedding as a platform to justify his affair, and I had every right to shut that down. So, Reddit, am I the a-hole for cutting off my father's speech at my wedding? Shout out to OP's maid of honor for executing that mic cut flawlessly. Honestly, OP's wedding wasn't ruined. It was saved from being OP's father's personal TED Talk on why cheating is okay. The fact that he's still blowing up OP's phone proves he isn't sorry for what he did. He's just mad he didn't get the final word. He wanted an audience to validate his choices, but instead, he got exactly what he deserved, an abrupt end to his delusional speech and an exit that no one cared about. OP handled it better than most would, and she should have zero guilt about it. If anything, I wish OP had handed him a microphone with a dead battery, just to watch him talk into nothingness like the irrelevant presence he is. OP needs to block him. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Your father had the audacity to use your wedding as a platform to justify his infidelity and abandonment of your mother. The sheer narcissism it takes to stand there and act like his affair was some kind of romantic fate instead of an act of pure selfishness is astounding. You did the right thing by shutting him down. He wanted to make a scene. You gave him exactly what he deserved: silence. So let me get this straight. He cheats on your mother, emotionally destroys her, marries his mistress, and now expects you to forgive and celebrate their love? Your stepmother is obviously a master manipulator who has been pushing your father to guilt trip you into accepting her. Cutting the mic was a power move, and I'm here for it. Stay strong, OP. Your father's delusional if he thought that speech was going to go over well. He wasn't trying to give wisdom about love. He was trying to rewrite history and make himself the hero of his own affair story. Love does not wait for permission? Excuse me? That's not poetic. That's disgusting. Love does not justify betrayal. You should be proud of yourself for not letting him manipulate your wedding into his redemption arc. My daughter, Nicole. Girlfriend, Georgia. Nicole has autism. Fake names. Nicole didn't have an easy childhood. I was an active participant in her life, and I'm almost certain I was a good father. But she saw the financial struggles, and her mother was neglectful. She fed her and bathed her, but was impulsive and liked to go out a lot. I separated from Nicole's mother when she was 6. Nicole's mother eventually, in the following 4 years, cleaned up her act, went to counseling, and has settled down and has a son. We were still close friends. I've been with Georgia for 5 years. Georgia has 2 sons, 15, 13, and we have a daughter who is 2. Her sons live with us 2 consecutive weeks of the month. Nicole has always acted out. When she was 8, we got a dog, and she threw it down the stairs. Since that incident, she's been in counseling 2 times a week. I do not normalize her behavior. She has anger issues, but I do try not to blame her for this. We haven't had a pet since. We also haven't really had any major incidents. A couple screaming fits, once where she pushed me down the stairs, and only when she's off her meds. I love my daughter, but I'm slightly scared of her. We told Nicole that we no longer saw it safe to travel away to see her grandmother next week. Her grandmother is vulnerable, and it's a 7-hour car journey, not including traffic. She freaked out and punched me. It hasn't really affected me, but it has worried my girlfriend because of her sons and our very young daughter. If this was the first incident, I feel like Georgia would let it go. But this isn't the first time Nicole has lashed out at me. Thankfully, never my other children. Later that night, Georgia told me that basically, she doesn't want Nicole in our lives. She wants Nicole to stay with her mother and for us to completely be done with her because of her behavior. I'm not going to say her fears are totally ridiculous, as overcoming the violence, Nicole has stolen, most being 400 pounds, from us. Nicole is my daughter. I believe there is something more playing on her mental health than autism, but she hasn't been diagnosed with anything despite seeing a counselor twice a week. I just need someone to tell me what to do here, because I can't cut my daughter off. But if I don't, then I'm telling Georgia her fears are ridiculous and that I'm putting my adult daughter before my toddler. I've suggested family counseling, but Nicole isn't open to it. Nicole needs more, or better, or more tailored help than she is getting. Family counseling is not the answer. Nicole needs a more specialized care program. That is your first priority. Speak honestly with her therapist so they know the extent of her behavior. You don't need to cut her out of your life. You may need to see her outside of the home, though. Spend time with her, but only you and at other places, parks, out to eat, etc. 2 weeks ago, sister-in-law needed to borrow supplies for a charity event she was working on. The event was starting before I got home from work, so I gave her the garage code and told her she could find what she needed in my office cabinets. Later that day, she texted me saying she had her niece with her and that her niece had an accident, but that they cleaned it up and it's practically invisible now. She must be blind because it is shockingly visible. From what I can tell, she gave the kid an open glass of cherry juice. The child dropped it and it splattered more than 8 feet. It is all over the rug, one of the couches, and even the wall. Neither the dry cleaners nor a carpet cleaning company could help with the rug, so it will have to be replaced. I am waiting to hear back from the manufacturer of the couch to find out if they have any suggestions, but it looks like that's going to need to be replaced too. It's a unique shape that a slipcover won't work for, and the stains are spread too far for a throw to cover the damage. As for the wall, even that seems hopeless. Magic erasers faded the stains a little, but they're definitely still there. It looks like it will need to be repainted. The rug that was damaged was $1,200. The couch cost $1,400. Delivery will be extra. Repainting won't cost anything. I know the couch and rug probably sound really expensive. However, I'm an interior designer, so it comes with the territory. I work for myself and meet clients in that home office, so these things do need to be replaced. Is it unreasonable to ask my sister-in-law to pay the costs? $3,000 is going to be a tough pill to swallow. I would fish her for a reaction. Tell her that the stains did not come up and a carpet upholstery cleaning business said the items were a total loss. This is going to depend on your relationship with the sister-in-law and their financial ability to pay you. Could this end your relationship if you demand payment? I would want her to replace the stuff. No, it is not unreasonable. Perhaps you can approach this in a way that does not cause a rift between the two of you. You can sit down and discuss the method of payment, be it in rates that she can afford or all at once. It would be best if you were as tactful as possible. My, female 27, fiance, male 27, allowed our neighbor, female mid-20s, to stay the night over at our place while I was gone to a different city. When I came back, he told me this, but I feel like he's lying and more happened. His story is that she came over at 2 a.m. because she was locked out of her apartment and needed a place to sleep. She has been our neighbor for less than 3 months, so firstly, he shouldn't have let her in anyways. I also asked her about this, and she told me that she couldn't get into her apartment and had to wait for the next day for the locksmith. For me, the story doesn't add up for multiple reasons. 1. We have a female neighbor, so why wouldn't she go there? That would be my first option if I was in her shoes. 2. We also have a cheap hotel at 10 minutes drive, so also could have gone there. Personally to me, Both of these options are better than living with an unknown dude, so I think he cheated on me with her, and this is their cover-up story. You guys think their story is plausible? He told me that I was acting crazy over nothing. We both have been together for 2.5 years, and I love him, but I won't stay with him if he cheated, and to me, it looks like he did. Their story doesn't add up in my mind. Any advice? If I were her, I wouldn't have been able to justify a night in a hotel financially. Don't assume she can. If I were her, I would have knocked on y'all's door, expecting you to be there too, because a couple is safest to me. If I were her, maybe I would have knocked on the female neighbor's door first, but she, the neighbor, didn't answer because it was 2 a.m., and as a woman living alone, I wouldn't feel safe opening the door to someone unknown. You say in a comment that she slept very little, and he didn't sleep at all. That makes perfect sense to me. The goal wouldn't be sleeping or cheating. It would be passing time in a safe place until morning. It sounds like he opted not to turn her away. That's it. She didn't live with an unknown dude. She was in an emergency situation. Unless you've got other context you're leaving out from either this situation or your relationship, I think this feels a bit reactive. Ask to see receipt from locksmith. Alright, so the key players in this story are me, 25 male, my girlfriend Anna, 25 female, my brother Bill, 28 male, and my brother's girlfriend, Callie, 23 female, who have been dating for 3 years and live together. Also relevant are my other brothers, Dan, 24 male, and Eli, 9 male. I've been dating Anna for about 6 months. She's really awesome, and I see a future with her for sure. We met on Tinder and have been pretty much inseparable since. We fight some, but no more than most couples, I'd say. This is definitely our biggest issue, and I'm worried it's going to spell the end of us. Anna is really jealous of Callie, weirdly jealous, about things that I think are completely unreasonable. Anna, Bill, Callie, and I all live in the same city, so we see Bill and Callie a lot. Until about a year ago, Bill and I lived together, but now I live on my own and he lives with his girlfriend. Bill and Callie are both big nerds. He's a botanist, and she's pursuing her PhD in some sort of physics thing that has to do with space. She's crazy smart. I really love Anna, but I don't think she's ever been someone to get along with other women very well. I knew from the start that she didn't like Callie, and I don't really feel like she's making much of an attempt to hide that fact. Whatever, I can't force her to like my brother's girlfriend. She thinks Callie is stuck up, shallow, entitled, arrogant, causes drama, whatever. I don't agree with her, but I can chalk all that up to an opinion about her personality, which I feel like will change if she gets to know Callie better. It's the specific things that I don't know how to react to. 4 months ago, my grandmother passed away. The funeral was on the other side of the country, so we all packed up and flew there for the funeral and to visit family. Callie was invited, Anna was not, and Anna was pissed. I'm still hearing about it to this day, and while it seems like she understands that Callie had met my grandmother and known her for many years and should have been invited, she doesn't get why my dad didn't just go ahead and spring for another plane ticket for Anna to make it fair. I feel like we've spent months talking in circles about it, and at this point, I wish she would just forget about it, you know? If I had known it was going to be a big deal, I would have just bought her a ticket myself. 2 weeks ago was my dad's birthday. My brothers, Anna, Callie, and I all went to visit for his birthday. Callie and Bill were allowed to sleep in the same room, but my dad asked that Anna sleep in the guest room. His reasoning is that he wants to keep things as appropriate as possible for my youngest brother. I agree with Anna that this is kind of unfair. But, on the other hand, Callie and Bill live together, and Eli has stayed with them for the weekend before. I tried to explain to Anna that in a year or so my dad won't mind. Callie slept in the guest room the first several times she visited. But for now, he's just trying to look out for his kid, and it's his house, his rules. So we fight about these two things all the time. She accuses my family of liking Callie more, which I ducked up and told her, well, yeah, they've known her longer. We love Callie. Idiot. And then accuses me of liking Callie more, and of not being serious about her, etc. I don't know how to handle this, because I never really expected to have a girlfriend be jealous of someone who is basically my sister-in-law. Speaking of which, I know Bill is planning on proposing soon, with my grandmother's ring, and I really regret telling Anna, Because already it's, well, that's selfish. What if you or Dan wanted to propose with that ring? She shouldn't just take it all for herself. As if it were Callie's decision and not something Bill wanted to do. And even if I tried to explain that we talked about it and decided that Callie actually knew our Gmail, so it was appropriate, Anna just doesn't want to hear it. I feel like we're building up to a big blow-up here. Every day she's hinting that she wants to move into my apartment, hinting that she wants to get engaged or whatever, but it all comes off as her wanting to one-up Callie. It's frustrating because I feel like this isn't really who she is. Usually she's very laid back and kind of open to talking through our problem. But the minute Callie's involved, somehow it all turns into a total crap show. What should I say to her? Where do I even start? Edit. I love my family, and Callie is part of my family. I'm going to tell Anna that she needs to cut this out, that Callie is my family, and that she can't expect to have the same relationship with my family as someone who has been around 6 times as long. If she doesn't cut it out, well, I'm guessing that'll be Splitsville for us, which sucks, but better now than a year from now, right? Poor girl. It must be exhausting to wave that many red flags. It is never a good sign when a woman admits that she's never really gotten along with other women and accuses other women of creating drama. Your girlfriend is a drama queen. That problem is not going to get better. She is going to continue to be jealous of your Callie, who has been in your life longer than Anna and is going to be your sister-in-law soon. Do you really want to spend the rest of your life feeling pressured into making major decisions so that Anna can feel like she's one-upping Callie? Cut your losses now and find a woman who is not such a brat. Update. I do want to say that my last post wasn't very flattering towards Anna. That's because it was a post about a problem between us. If it were a post about all the things about her that I love, it would have been much longer and much more flattering. I just wanted to say that because Anna isn't a bad person, and I think a lot of you got an unfair impression of her based on my perspective of a problem we have. That said, long story short, we broke up. So, this post isn't very flattering either. I wanted to talk to her and see if I could get to the root of her problem with Callie and with my family, and it seemed to boil down to this. Anna feels like because my parents have 4 boys, they embraced Callie as a surrogate daughter, but now that role has been filled and there isn't room left for Anna. She talked a lot about how Callie has the advantage and that she, Anna, hasn't really been given an opportunity to prove herself. She explained that that's part of what upset her about not being able to come to California to my Gma's funeral. Not the funeral, but afterwards when we all cleaned out Grandma's house and everything. She said she wanted to be there to show that she was helpful, dedicated, caring, whatever. I felt really weird about all that because it seemed like she was viewing everything as an opportunity to make herself look good. I don't know if I can explain it well, but she was explaining it in this really calculating way, and it seemed like she didn't genuinely care about us, just about making herself look good. I tried to explain to her that I think the only advantage Callie has is that she's been around longer. I pointed out that Anna is the same religion as my family, Catholic, kind of a big deal to my mom, that she's from the same region, Northeast, that she and my mom share a profession, teaching, and a bunch of other little things. She wasn't hearing it, so I suggested we take a break to think things over, because Callie is about to be my family in a very real way, and if she can't stand that, then maybe the relationship isn't working out. Anna told me that she doesn't do breaks, so I told her, fine, it's a breakup. But if you change your mind in the next few weeks, I'd love to talk to you. That was Thursday. So that's where we were until Sunday evening. I was at Bill and Callie's watching football, getting a little drunk, feeling sorry for myself, but also feeling pretty good because the Patriots won. Callie's a Panthers fan, so she's been having a pretty good season also, and all 3 of us were having a good day overall. And then Callie started getting Facebook messages from Anna. A lot of them. I don't know if she was drunk or just pissed off, but it was just message after message of, I hope you feel good about yourself. I think it's disgusting how you consider all, our last names, your territory. My mom only tolerates your pathetic redneck blah 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 because she thinks you'll be able to support her when she's old. People duck their cousins where you're from. I bet I can find a story or 2 about you. I hope you enjoy that ring. It's probably the nicest thing you've ever touched. Congrats on marrying up in the social class. All the kids in the watering hole in whatever podunk BS village spawned you sure will be impressed. How will you even get the news out? Smoke signal? I didn't think they'd gotten electricity there yet. I bet you're pregnant and making him propose to save face for your bastard baby. These aren't direct quotes, but sort of the gist of it. Basically, just a lot of really mean stuff about how Callie is from the South, grew up poor, her parents are Mennonites, etc. Also accusing her of feeling threatened by Anna and forcing me to break up with her. Not nice stuff. Callie was pretty upset and had to deactivate her Facebook. Bill's pissed. I'm pissed. But there's nothing good that could come from me confronting Anna. I feel like such an a-hole for even bringing Anna around in the first place, because none of it was worth all of this BS. Callie blames it on the fact that Anna grew up an only child in a wealthy family. I don't know if that's true or if Anna is just mean-spirited. Either way, I feel really guilty for being the source of all this for Callie. And also, the Facebook messages spoiled that Bill was going to propose. So that's a bummer. Callie's dad is a jeweler and is resizing the ring, so he can't even give it to her yet. He was going to do it at Christmas, but I think he's going to do it at Thanksgiving instead. So there's a bit of a happy ending there.